you like to, Dustin, would you like to lead us in the pledge tonight?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, first up is approval of the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to review. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve, please.
So, go ahead.
Move to approve the agenda for the August 6th regular meeting.
Okay,
I second.
and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, and also, let the record state that all board members are present tonight. We do have a quorum, even though we have no action items, we still have a quorum present. Okay, also, before you, or I sent out prior to the meeting, 2 sets of minutes. One from the July 2nd meeting and the second set from the special meeting on July 13th. I didn't hear any need for changes or additions. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve, please.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
I have to abstain, I wasn't here for the July
For the
13th.
July 13th, okay, and we have noted as such. Okay. We'll pass these for signature. And while those are being signed, we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Augustine, you didn't have anything
No, ma'am.
to speak tonight, okay? All right. And welcome Steve and Olivia, you will be on the agenda a little bit further down, okay? Okay, first on our discussion criteria. Kind of wish that we had our attorney on the call with us, but we don't. Item for discussion tonight is criteria for our executive/finance director. Did you guys, Mike or Charles, did either one of you work on any kind of a description on that need when you were working with Richard from MRGCD? No. Okay, so we have not done anything along this path. Okay. I think what we probably need to do then is form a committee to actually establish a criteria for what we're going to need for an executive/finance director. And whoever's on that committee will be working with the attorney as well to build that. Then we'll go about the process of posting that to the public. Not exactly sure what avenue we're going to have to do that yet, but that's something that we can work on moving forward.
Is this a full-time position?
It's going to probably be just a part-time, probably contract at this point, because we just simply don't have a need for a full-time. Okay. I would like, if anybody would like to step up to be on that committee, to work on that, building that criteria, and working with the attorney also. I could pass those names on to her. I unfortunately am not gonna be able to. We're rolling into the general election cycle and I'm gonna be
to it, but I'll scan those and I'll send them to you, that way you can tell me what you think is
Okay,
needed or not needed.
okay.
What I'll do is I'll put you on the agenda at our next meeting just for an update to see where you guys are at. And then if we're ready to, you know, solidify and move forward, we can at that point. If that works for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, next up on the agenda is website update. And before you is, a PowerPoint that was shared by, our legal counsel, who actually had someone in-house work on this. And I'm gonna try calling her and see if I can get her.
I tried to text her. This is calling.
Let's see, I don't remember about the name of this one.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Brenda Hume, Chair of the Valencia County Arroyo Flood Control District, calling for Nan.
Thanks, Fernand. Please stay on the line. I'm sorry, this person is not available.
Okay, we'll move forward on our own then. Okay, within this PowerPoint covers the basics of what we're looking at in order to establish a website for the district. It just gives the basic criteria of how it's gonna be structured. There are pros and cons, which was addressed in here. This would not be a .gov. .gov takes a long time to get and establish. We know Valencia County just went through the process, and it was easily 6 to 9 months. I also went through the process when I was the clerk in Union County, and it took us about 9 months to get a .gov. So in the interest of time, probably going with an outside company like what she has outlined in here is going to be our best bet. It appears that we would be able to be up and running in less than a month. Is that correct, Charles?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know, I've got a copy of a quote here, you can pass it around.
Okay, I actually think that the quote is
On the last
included
page?
on the last
Okay.
page. Oh, no, it's not.
Uh,
No, it is not. Okay.
Okay, so, you know, just like everybody else, they got a deal this month, but we can't put it on the agenda and do it this month.
Oh, here it is. It's actually included in here.
Okay, then
Cost of the municipal contract.
upside down page? Yeah. One thing I was confused about is you're saying we can't get the stuff on the right, because it's governmental host, website host, because that includes things like the ADA compliance, right?
Okay, what page are you on?
I'm on page, we're looking at this website
Oh, under
host.
government website host. Okay. Oh, the pros and cons.
Right, and see,
Okay.
that's a pain if we have somebody who actually wants and needs that. I mean, it's one of the problems with all my classes, you gotta do an IMAC,
Right.
caption titles, everything.
Actually, what we're talking about, so there is a new thing that's coming out, because we are getting the emails here at the county as well.
grows as we need it, so.
Yeah, that's the part
It
that-
grows as we grow.
Right,
Which,
that was the
that's what
part
we're
that,
gonna be
you
doing.
know, and it seems like it's easy for us to put stuff on and take stuff off. That'll be one, you know, one source to do that. That's my other biggest concern is like, we put something on there, somebody else puts something on, some bad actor puts something on that's even obscure.
Right.
Happens, Danny. You know,
I just like at the end of this whole thing, how it says for the future, you know, it's like no cancellation charge. You can take what you have, you can set up an agreed date, so even if it's 5 months down the road, you say, this is what we're doing, you take all your content, transfer it to a new website, and move on.
Yeah.
And that's,
like we can pick it up in portable.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just move with it, so I think it's a good starting
it's-
point.
Yeah, I
These
agree.
people, you know, from what I can tell, I'm just clicking a little bit on, they seem to specialize in what we.
What we're looking for, okay. Okay, Charles, if you want to, since you've been working with, have you been working with Nan or with Erica?
Kind of, I see them both, I really, you know, I haven't really heard anything from either one of them other than I thought it was okay, and, you know, and she, you know, kind of like, can we get it extended past the 31st for Heal?
Mhm.
Crickets, so.
Oh, okay.
For America, for you.
Well, is there contact information where you can reach out to these guys directly?
Probably. Probably,
Okay. We have a month to work with, so Charles, if you wouldn't mind following up on that, see if we can get an extension on that date. And if not, let me know, and then I will be in touch with everybody to schedule a special meeting if we need to approve this action item and get the ball rolling so that we can get good pricing on that. Okay? Okay, thank you very much. While we're on the subject, because this is where we're going to be using our logo first on the website. This is a great joint effort between you two. I gather, Mike, you were the first person to create this. Because of the issue with using the Zia symbol, then Charles went to AI and created these two samples that we have tonight minus the Zia. Okay? My thoughts were that we should go with the one with the clouds because that kind of, to me, it demonstrates what our purpose is.
And our hopes and dreams.
Yes.
Well, our hope now, our nightmare later.
Yes.
Be careful for what you.
Pretty moderately, yes.
Right. I mean, I love this one, and I love the sun, and especially the color one, where the one is split in with the in
Yeah,
color.
this had dark, sharper colors.
Yes. But this is, I had asked Charles to print it so that we could all look at it and come to a consensus on what we would like, or if we want to make some other changes to that logo.
It's gonna look a little better, my printer, this is just one of those Epson Eco Tank things, I didn't ask for the best colors, so.
I mean, it was really pretty when you sent me the
Yeah,
the
when
PDFs
you look
on
at,
the email,
yeah, when
yes.
you look at the one I downloaded from chat, or, you know, it's
Yes.
much sharper.
Yes,
and
the
nicer.
colors were.
As it will be on the website.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well, what, do you guys have a preference one way or the other?
The
Or-
clouds,
Huh?
the clouds.
The clouds?
If not, then it looks like a creek is running through the desert
Right.
with a sunny day.
Yeah.
I can have them build that up like Pat Ford Rapids or something,
No, we really don't want to be dealing with that.
put a house in it.
For sure, I love clouds. Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm not
The
sure.
one with the clouds?
I like clouds.
The clouds, that was my choice too. Okay,
Mhm.
then Charles, if you could also pass that on to them and use that as our logo?
Dark cloud logo.
Dark cloud logo, yes.
Anything else you guys see on it you wanna change? I mean, you got this stuff from our statute basically, right?
Mhm.
Future part, what we're talking about, that sounds cool. Any of the wording, any of the rest of that around the outside edges?
I like it, it's very direct. You obviously know what the
Good evening, Gil. Yeah, I'm a dynamic speaker. Well, thank you for inviting us here, and hopefully I can provide some information to you all. Olivia is the Assistant Director of Development Services Department, and Development Services encompasses planning, engineering, construction, film industry, economic development. What did I leave out?
Project management.
Project management, the whole gamut. And I am the director of that. Before I get too much into what the city's doing and the projects we've been working on that you'll probably be interested in, Ms. Olivia will be taking my place when I retire in a few months. So I want to give you just a brief background of myself, because a lot of you don't really know who I do, well, who I am, and my background. I am a degree civil mechanical engineer. I never had an interest in getting my PE, which I kind of regret over the years. I didn't pick that up. But I have headed up large design engineering teams that do manufacturing projects, commercial projects, small development subdivisions, and then master plan communities of several thousand acres in Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. So I've seen it all: big arroyos, flood control, channel design, dam design, bridge design, and massive grading, drainage projects, road projects. So I've seen it all. And I've worked with multiple engineering firms as an employee, as a manager, and leading teams for multiple engineering firms. So, strong background in all that. So there's not much I haven't been involved with over the years in that, including large dams. As far as the city goes, if you know the history of Lynn, we've had flooding problems. And so we've been trying to, over the years, resolve that with the Eagle Pond areas along by the freeway by the Eagle Tank. So we did those ponds several years ago to pick up the water that's coming down on Camino and off the bluff there. We have the West Side Pond that's just north of that. That was a pond that was flooded out a few years ago with one of the big storms that came in, ripped through and wiped out the pond. So FEMA put in the funds to rebuild that. Unfortunately, they required us to rebuild the exact same pond. We added a few features to it, but I would have loved it to be some other additions to that to improve that situation, but they mandated we had to restore that exact pond. So I'm not super pleased, and we're going to have to come back, put in some step down on that, cut off walls to prevent some of the erosion that occurs there. Some of the small ponds we did along Camino has helped deal with the water that comes down total solution, because we have this big dirt road that's flowing down, and we're gonna have a lot of silt still going down that road. The pond picks up the major flow, but we have this entity here is Argonne Road. And so I said, we need funds to pave the road. We'd already planned for the storm drains and the drop inlets, but we were concerned with the gravel there, that it was just gonna fill up the silt and would negate the effect of that, the storm drains. So I said, we need your funds to pave that road. And so she did grant us the funds to pave that road. So we have that whole silt control, the water control that goes into the Highline Canal. And we're not getting that overshoot over the bridge running down Argonne Road. So we paved the rest of Argonne Road. We got capital outlay to take it from the Highline down to Mesa. So now it's repaved completely, new curb and gutter, so it maintains everything into the road, and it continues that flow on down towards Main Street. We completely rebuilt Argonne Road all the way down to Main Street, and we put in a retention pond at Cavalier. So if it fills up and starts to overflow, the curb and gutter will dump into that pond, and then allow that to build up, control the flow, slow down, and eventually then come back into Argonne down to Main Street and not overflow Main Street. So there's a massive design, minimum 100, I think it's a little over 100-year storms, and it was quite an effort to design that, build that, get it funded, and get that thing done. So that's what's happened there. Like I said, we're excited that the rest of Argonne will be paved and the whole procedure goes in. We were trying to design the pond, what we were calling the May Reed Pond. And that's the arroyo that comes and crosses over the frontage road, comes along close to the hospital, and goes over Christopher Road, and comes down and discharges into the Highline Canal. We were designing that pond to be on the east side of the freeway, so we could catch the arroyo there and keep it from flooding out the freeway, and control it to go so it's controlled towards the Highline Canal there. DOT interceded and said, no, we don't want it on that side of the freeway. We said, what do you mean? There's all kinds of silt that comes down there, and it fills in all the inlets. It goes over, and if we get a bad storm, it's going to block the freeway. And the comment was, but we don't see that on silt. And we want you to build it on the east side of the freeway where we have property to build it. And so we were trying to design that, trying to get right away from property owners to approve the arroyo that came down there, and it just delayed and battled, and trying to figure out how we're going to do everything. We finally met with another person with DOT, and we were running out of time. We were running out of money. And we met with another person with DOT, and he goes, why are you building on that side? We said, because you all directed us to do that. And we said, it's not going to work. And we're going to get all this silt coming down. And we had one of the more recent storms that hit, and it did, put sand all across the freeway. And so we shut down the project, the bids came in, and it was too expensive. And we just shut it down and said, we're going to shut the whole thing down, and we're going to design on the east side of the freeway like we planned to do. And so we got that plan moving forward, but we ran out of time on the funding. And so we had to release the funds. So we're going to go back, get the rest of the funds, finish the design, and build a pond on the east side of the freeway. Then we can do a controlled discharge, and the arroyo that goes down now on the east side of the freeway is not going to have any, just minimal flow. So it won't affect the Highline Canal, it won't affect those properties on the east side of the freeway. So that's what we're moving forward to do there. But that was really discouraging as the there's no silt that comes down, moving on the other side of the freeway. So that's where we stand now on that. So we put in a big 10% temporary basin. We took what was designed on the east side and we put in a temporary basin to pick up some of that. We haven't finished that, but we want to build a basin that can at least pick up some of that flow to hold it back, not just overwhelm everything right now. But we still need to get finished engineered and actually built correctly. So patience on that one, because we are still trying to get that done. It's just really disappointing that we were stopped what we wanted to do originally. Every project that comes in, we require them to design for the 100-year storm minimum, and they have to retain on site. So we have a 400 lot subdivision that's going up by the airport, and they've designed the ponds accordingly to handle all that flow. And then if it does overflow and surpasses 100 year, it'll go down the streets like it's designed and go back in the Arroyo as originally it was just, kind of running off to. Which is about all you can do, but it is a controlled. We do allow where there's a Arroyo coming into a project, it's pretty well national understood that you can pick up an Arroyo that comes into your property, you pick up that flow and you can meander it around to maximize your development, but they are mandated to discharge at the original point of discharge at the same rate of discharge, same circumstances of discharges. And I've dealt with that for 50 years. I've had to sign those to do that, and we mandate them to do that. And so we have one where, I don't know if you know where Sunrise Bluffs is, on the west frontage road, south of Camino. There's some new developments coming in there. They're having to do their pond structures and grading structures, but there is a Arroyo that comes in and they will just take that right through the project and discharge it where it'll go in the actual route and across the freeway underneath what DOT did. So that's what we mandate. Infill, we prefer that they retain on site, but some of the stuff with lots that are scattered through the city, it's real hard for them to put in drainage. So we require them to not show that they do not increase the flow that was naturally discharging into our streets. So we do that also on all of our projects. We also require that they comply with the Clean Water Act. So they have to show that they're not putting the silt or anything else in the systems. So it's kind of an overview of how we do everything. And we're real strict about it. Molson Corbin, we have Molson Corbin and Bohannon in Houston as our consulting engineers. They review all the projects that come in. They review the utilities, the street, the paving, the drainage and grading and all that. And they review the plans. And our teams, our water department, our streets department, and myself, and different departments in our city, they also review all those plans and comment also. So we have a whole team set up that does all this. So, and I oversee all that because I have the most experience. But I can at least lead those teams, and we call out a lot of things that our consultants have missed. And even when the consultants are designing our roads and everything, our whole team reviews it. And we bring attention to consultants. We don't agree here. We have a problem with what you're designing there. And you're not paying attention to certain aspects of it. So we're very outspoken on that. And I have a team that gets nervous when they're dealing with PE. And I've had PEs tell me, you're not a PE, don't tell us what to do. I said, I'm the customer. And by George, listen to it. And so my team is learning to say that we are the customer. And if we have a concern or something, you will address that concern, or you will be leaving that project. So I've built the backbone of my team to stand up to that whole thing.
So when you're building, it, does the oversight to make sure they build according to the specs that they've designed?
Yes.
Who does that?
Well, we also hire the consultant to be on the project also. So they're all on the project the full day. They have a set of plans, they have all the specs, and they're out there making sure. And I have a project manager and myself are out there every day, and we stand over their shoulders, and we'll bring something, hey, y'all missed this, you didn't pay attention to this. And they call us out whenever there's a problem. We all meet out there to solve the problem. And you've probably heard about the fountain they did Monday night. we shut off all kinds of valves, replaced lines, reconnected, disconnected, and everything else, and we kind of shut the line down. Spent 2 months trying to shut that line down. And they were doing some excavation, they were potholing and everything, and they were doing some excavation at Cavalier and Argonne, and they went down deep, and there was a 16-inch line, it was below everything, it went deep up Cavalier line, but then it came underneath everything and connected straight up to the line where it couldn't see. So those are the nightmares we deal with. So Monday we had a water line break, we couldn't shut it down. And so they had put certain valves in to close the line. And today they were spot pulling and everything else, and we found a line that somehow came in, we think from an alley, and went right across, connected every one of the lines together. And that's why we couldn't shut it down. So those are the nightmares we deal with our systems. And we have a good team and good contractors and everything to deal with it all. So it's fun dealing with a very, very old city. We're gonna do a good job.
That's nationwide.
Yeah.
Everybody's dealing with that.
It is.
Does Molson do a grading and drainage on every property that
What's that?
opens? Does Molson do a grading and drainage plan for every property that's
Not the single lots.
No,
We look at it. They do have to show a grading plan. And I have enough experience to review those and see how it works, and I also sign off on flood also. But I look at that, and I look at the volumes, and what they're discharging, they show what used to be, what is still there, and things, how much they're reducing it, are they able to reduce it any further? If I'm uncertain about it, then I'll turn it over to Mohan and Moles and say, you need to review this. Like, you'll see first care that's going on the I-25 bypass, we have our engineers review that. That's more significant than a single lot. So we're very conscientious. We want to make sure it goes
Is the solar field having any impact?
The solar infill has not. They avoided all the roads, and they were very conscious about that because they did not. There was multiple roads across there. The only place they affected all was the road where the road would go through. If it was a significant road, they did put in culverts, some big culverts, and they had analysis done what the flow was, what the discharge was. They have a couple of ponds on there where some of the drainage comes off and they've graded, but they've put in cleaned in straw. We have not seen the dust, we've not seen the runoff like we did for the other areas. And they have to receive the whole thing once they're finished. So they are really controlling that. Molson did a full drainage and grading analysis on that, read everything, did all the plans, our team reviewed it. They're doing a good job. I've been impressed with that.
So you feel it's sufficient?
Yeah.
Okay.
We drive it. It's funny, I'll go out there and have my lights turned on. The crews immediately call the project manager. There's a police officer in the project, what's going on? The police is on. They freak out. Yeah, we watch the projects.
Tyler, do you have questions?
Are you ready for questions?
Yeah.
Okay. I only have two simple questions. So the first one is, who maintains your ponds?
Our crews.
So the city of Glen. Okay.
And we've set up a regular maintenance program now. It was not done in the past, and so we had problems, and the ponds were silting up. And so when I came on board, over the years, had a lot of dealings with the MAFCA and SCAFCA. In fact, many years ago, Rich Leonard was the director of MAFCA, so I'm telling you my age right there. He was the director of MAFCA, and he would see me interfacing with a lot of the engineers and calling them out on their designs and everything else. And he called me up and he said, Steve, I'm moving to Phoenix. I'm going to be taking over a big land development company down there. He said, would you like to be the director of MAFCA? And I said, I really appreciate the offer, Rich. And I said, I don't have a PE. And he said, you serious? I said, no, I don't. He said, I watched you counter engineers. And he said, you walked up and shown them they don't always know what they're doing. You really don't have a PE? I said, no. And he said, you have to have a PE to be the director. So I was the he said our funding ran, it expired. We had already, extended it. And so we couldn't get it renewed. And, the funding was remaining, would have finished the design, but it expired. And so we're trying to get funding to finish the design and get the thing built.
I guess,
So you won't have that flow, you won't even go any through with that flow, or anything like that. So we're concerned because the monsoon's here, and we lost that opportunity to solve the problem.
yeah. I guess now my last question, the cost for Arroyo Pond, can you guys share that with me, or?
I'm trying to remember what it was, I believe that was like 4 million,
Or maybe-
close to 5. Yeah, it was an expensive project.
That's my last.
Kind of gives you an idea what you're dealing with.
No, please feel free.
That's it? I'm good, anyone else?
Then,
Danny, do you have any questions?
if you don't mind me speaking up, like I said, I dealt with all this, and I dealt with big panel design and everything. And the nightmare, and I know you're working with the conservative district and everything else. The unfortunate thing is some of the highline or some of the canals cross through lines. And so it semi-blocked. That's the issue that's out there. How do you get those royals back where they do? Is it underneath the highline? Does the highline become part of the system? That's a big challenge that y'all face down the road. We faced a project in Phoenix that Burlington Northern built a railroad track across the Arroyo, and it blocked the Arroyo, and it flooded the whole town. It had been flooded every year as it big rains, any kind of rains, it would flood the whole town. And we came in to do a big development. By that time, I was a consultant for one of the biggest developers in Arizona, and they brought me in to head up their design teams and stuff. And so we were doing big master plan community in the town, and we said, what are your big problems? And they said, we had flooded. So we went and did a whole drainage design, whole new channels, and took that, raised the railroad up, and took the concrete channel underneath the railroad, and did a clover and lower the whole thing on the whole thing, and saved the town from all the flooding. So, used to solving problems. That was a nightmare. I felt sorry that time, that they did that. Any other questions? Glad to answer.
No,
If there's any advice you want to have, anything you want to discuss, and how things I've done in the past, I'd be glad to provide input. Like I said, I'm retired, but I told Glenn I'm not abandoning the city. Thank you.
As a resident of Valencia County, what would you recommend, or what would you wish for as a project for us to focus on?
I think it's how you deal with the road is coming across.
25.
You're
That's
talking
good.
about Berlin.
Huh?
You're talking about in Berlin, in that area?
And not just Berlin, I mean, that
Throughout.
whole mesa. You know, and the problem, like when Glenn's been flooded, FEMA only deals with the river. The flood insurance, everything, only looks if the river rises and floods. Our federal government doesn't look at the mesas and the arroyos. And so that's a real issue. And how do we resolve all this? How do we protect the people?
Is that because they're not considered waters of the US, or?
They are considered waters of the US.
Why won't FEMA?
Yeah, and when I designed subdivisions, we had to go to FEMA and the Corps of Engineers. The problem you're dealing now is the Corps of Engineers and FEMA split and are not working together with each other. And so every time we did a project, we had to submit to FEMA, we had to submit to the Corps of Engineers, and that's where I learned. You can direct things, but you pick it up where it came in and you discharge it where it was originally. You do not interfere with the waters of the United States. And the Corps has been pulled out of some of that. I mean, Corps became a nightmare. If you had a farm that had a pond, they tried to declare it water of the United States. And so they got carried away and got into a big lawsuit, and the federal government, the Congress, removed their power to designate some of that.
is great as well. So I've been chatting with Steve a lot, and then I take over, or have taken over a lot of long-range planning and account development, film, that sort of thing, so. Yeah, big shoes to fill, for sure.
But you also have a fabulous teacher as well.
Absolutely.
And she's got good team support.
Yes.
We established all that team support.
Sounds like that you've laid a great framework that will continue on.
Thank you. That was my purpose.
they've been the most severely impacted over the years. As far as taking over, is it gonna cause a headache if we try to take that over? They've been fighting for it or against it, whatever they're doing for years.
For
Is that
years.
gonna be a legal thing on our side?
And that's something that our attorney would need to definitely weigh the pros and cons of it.
Who's trying to
Without
get
a
it?
doubt.
Any company?
But whoever's trying to get it, if it's gonna be a fight for us, I don't see that as a good representation of a good start. I see that as more of a headache,
Yeah,
as opposed to the ponds that are already needing help.
that are need, right,
Good point.
yeah.
On the other hand,
Well,
if no one knows who owns it, we do have that power in the domain, and if no one's gonna fight you,
Right,
or somebody's gonna step up and finally say they own it,
right.
But do we wanna get in that battle?
Well, I don't believe that we're in any position,
Well, now,
now,
we
number
have
one,
1 million.
and I would say probably number two, no, we don't wanna get in that, no, no. We need to be very conscientious
That's,
of the direction that we go and what we decide to get involved in,
cause
if you will.
that would just turn into an engineering nightmare and design and
Mhm.
it would turn into just, for us to actually make it capable of doing what we need it to do, we'd need so much, it'd be, I think, a lot of resources wasted on something that's technically already functioning,
Okay.
that nobody really knows
Yeah,
what's going on.
enough said, we won't need to revisit that, in my opinion.
only
You
so
guys
many.
concur with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Let the sleeping dog lie for now.
got it, okay. Alrighty, anything else, gentlemen? No? Okay, well, we've got a path forward, Charles, if you'll let me know what you find out, as far as the situation with
Following around the inlet.
okay,
Duh.
yeah, so whatever route we need to go with that, if we need to call a special, I'll reach out to everyone and, we'll organize that, otherwise then we'll definitely have that on as an action item at the next meeting, the beginning of September, if we can wait that long, otherwise I will see you all sooner.
I would think that they would,
They would
give us that,
extend, I would hope so, but we'll find out.
3 days, come on.
Yeah, that's not that much.
Agreed.
Okay, if nobody has anything else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second, we need to adjourn.